William Faulkner has a reputation for a complicated stream of consciousness prose style. But did you know he also wrote a Southern mystery where uncovering the truth means confronting prejudice? Hello, welcome to my channel. Another Bibliophile Reads. My name is Greg, and this is an announcement for the 8th annual Faulkner in August event. This event was created by Brian at Bookish and Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. And every August, they gather together a bunch of co-hosts to read a William Faulkner book. As I said, this is the 8th year this event has been going on, and my 5th year for participation. I started off when they read Sanctuary. I read the Snopes trilogy. I read Absalom. I read Go Down Moses, and As I Lay Dying, but not necessarily in that order. Now, for this 8th year, we are going to be doing Intruder in the Dust. I have not read this book before, so it will be entirely new to me. I have done a little bit of internet research to describe a little bit about what Intruder in the Dust is about. Intruder in the Dust, originally published in 1948, is one of William Faulkner's most accessible and morally direct novels. Although it is a mystery on the surface, it is really a novel about race, justice, courage, and the possibility, however limited, of moral change in the American South. A black farmer, Lucas Beauchamp, is accused of murdering a white man. In the deeply segregated Mississippi of the 1940s, almost everyone assumes he is guilty before the evidence is even examined. A 16-year-old white boy, Chick Mallison, gradually becomes convinced of Lucas's innocence, and together with an elderly woman and a young girl, set out to prove it before a lynching occurs. Gavin Stevens, a character from Sanctuary and other stories, also appears in this novel. He is Chick's uncle. He is a fascinating character because he occupies an uncomfortable middle ground. He is neither the hero nor the villain of Intruder in the Dust. Instead, he represents Faulkner's idea of the educated, conscientious, white Southern man, a figure capable of insight, but also limited by the assumptions of his culture. The interesting thing about Gavin Stevens is he's not always right. At the first of the story, he believes Lucas is guilty. Only later does he believe he is innocent. Some see Gavin as essentially Faulkner's spokesman, expressing the author's own thoughts about the South's moral obligations. Others argue that Faulkner intentionally exposes Gavin's blind spots and asks readers not to accept everything he says uncritically. The novel repeatedly shows Gavin's theories must be corrected by events in the story. At its core, this novel is about moral courage. Unlike physical courage, moral courage means risking your own reputation and safety to do what's right. Chick's coming of age isn't becoming braver. It's learning to act against the expectations of his own community. The burden of Southern white history. The Civil War is over, but its legacy remains alive. Faulkner repeatedly shows how history shapes present behavior and how difficult it is to escape from inherited attitudes. Justice versus the law. The legal system exists, but the mob justice threatens to overwhelm it. Faulkner examines whether institutions are strong enough when prejudice is widespread. The critical reception of the novel has prompted different interpretations over the years. Contemporary reviewers praised it as an unusually direct statement on race. Some later critics argue Faulkner remained too optimistic about the ability of individual white people to solve systematic injustice. Others view it as one of the strongest anti-lynching novels written by a major Southern author. Today, it is often discussed with works by Richard Wright and Ralph Ellison, though their perspectives differ significantly. Although Faulkner is famous for his stylistically demanding novels, Intruder in the Dust was deliberately written to reach a wider audience. It appeared during a period when the United States was beginning to confront racial violence more openly after World War II. The novel's combination of suspense and social commentary helped broaden Faulkner's readership, and many scholars see it as an important bridge between the modernist masterpieces of the 1930s and the emerging literature of the civil rights era afterwards. As an aside, and a possible group discussion, William Faulkner himself was not able to challenge or even advocate change in the South where he lived. For him, racial justice was for fiction, not for the real world. I think this sounds like a completely fascinating novel, slightly different from the Faulkner that I am used to reading. In some ways, this novel sounds a little like To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. The comparison is almost inevitable. In fact, many readers who come to Intruder in the Dust after reading To Kill a Mockingbird immediately notice the similarities, yet the novels are trying to accomplish somewhat different things. The similarities: a young narrator learns about justice. A black man is accused. In Intruder in the Dust, it's murder. For To Kill a Mockingbird, it's rape. Both are set in small southern towns, and both are about moral courage. Both novels ask, what does moral courage look like when everyone around you expects conformity? The major differences: Lucas Beauchamp is not Tom Robinson. This may be the biggest distinction. Tom Robinson is fundamentally a victim, if I'm not completely mistaken in my memory. But Lucas Beauchamp refuses to be one. Lucas is proud, stubborn, sarcastic, independent, and intensely self-respecting. He refuses to perform deference for white people, even when doing so might help him. Which book came first? Intruder in the Dust was published in 1948. To Kill a Mockingbird appeared in 1960. There has long been speculation about whether Harper Lee was influenced by Faulkner. She admired his work, and both writers explored similar themes in neighboring Deep South states. However, there is no clear evidence that Mockingbird was consciously modeled on Intruder in the Dust. It is more accurate to say they drew from a shared Southern experience and literary traditions than to call one a direct imitation. Also, Faulkner is more ambiguous. Harper Lee writes with remarkable clarity. Readers generally know where they stand morally with Harper Lee. Faulkner is less interested in simple moral lessons. He spends more time exploring inherited guilt, family history, Southern identity, the burden of the past. Even in this, one of his more accessible novels, he leaves readers with more ambiguity. That's why I like William Faulkner. Have I whetted your appetite? Can I get you interested in joining the Faulkner in August group to read this novel? I think it'll be just a pretty casual read. Everyone is going to read this book at their own pace in August, and just read the book. That's all you have to do for Faulkner in August. I can join you to the Voxer group. Send me a Voxer message to GEEMONT235, and I will add you to this group. Again, if you are intimidated by Faulkner's stylistically demanding novels, his stream of consciousness, and you just want to avoid William Faulkner, even though I have not read this book yet, I think this will be a great introduction to his world. It is set in the same Yoknapatawpha County as his most famous novels, Sound and the Fury, Absalom, Absalom, Sanctuary, and others. I am really looking forward to this. I think this will be a great read. I hope you join us. Thank you for watching and keep on reading.